Hello RedCaseStory listeners. Welcome back to our channel that explores real-life true crime cases from around the world. We hope you're all safe, well, and far from danger. Today's story is one of the most haunting and heart-wrenching we've ever told. It is a story of innocence betrayed, of deep deception, and of a child lost too soon, not to a stranger, but to those who were supposed to protect her. This is the case of Tiahleigh Alyssa Rose Palmer, a 12-year-old girl from Logan City, Queensland, Australia. A girl who dreamed of dancing, horses, and love. But instead, she found herself caught in the most unimaginable nightmare. She was betrayed not by strangers, but by her foster family, and when the truth was finally uncovered, it stunned a nation. This is the full story of the murder of Tiahleigh Palmer. To the outside world, the Thorburn seemed like a loving foster family. They were approved by the state, ran a home daycare, and were trusted to care for children like Tiahleigh. But behind closed doors, things were not what they seemed. On the morning of October 30th, 2015, Rick Thorburn told police he dropped Tiahleigh off at Marston State High School. It was a regular Friday. Or so it seemed, but that day, Tiahleigh never entered the school. No one saw her in class. No teachers marked her as present. She vanished. For days, there was no trace of her. No answers. Just silence, and as each hour passed, the hope of finding her alive slowly faded. On November 5th, nearly a week after her disappearance, Queensland police held a press conference. They shared images of Tiahleigh, appealing for information from the public. That very same day, a fisherman discovered human remains along the Pimpama River, about 30 kilometers from her home. The body was decomposed beyond recognition. But the forensic evidence told a painful truth. On November 6th, authorities confirmed it. The remains were Tiahleigh Palmer. The country was devastated. An innocent child was gone, and still no one knew why. On November 14th, over 600 people came to farewell Tiahleigh. The funeral was held in her honor. Her favorite color, purple, was everywhere. Purple ribbons, purple shirts, purple balloons released into the sky. A haka was performed as a tribute. Tears fell. Children held each other close. Even Rick Thorburn, her foster father, was there. Wearing purple. Carrying her coffin. At the time, no one knew he would later be charged with her murder. Detectives were determined to uncover the truth. They searched the Thorburn property, combed through the area where her body was found, and launched a forensic examination of homes, cars, and electronic devices. One clue led to another, and soon, the suspicion turned inward, toward the very people who claimed to love Tiahleigh. As police dug deeper, they learned something disturbing. Tiahleigh had confided in a friend just days before her death. She had said that her 19-year-old foster brother, Trent Thorburn, had forced himself on her when their parents were out. She also told her foster mother, Julian. 2 days later, she was dead. Trent had even admitted to a cousin that he had had sex with Tiahleigh, and Rick Thorburn, the father, knew. Investigators now believed this was the motive. Rick killed Tiahleigh to protect his son from going to prison, or worse. In September 2016, police seized a car owned by Rick Thorburn. Shortly after, the entire Thorburn family was taken into custody. Rick was charged with murder and interfering with a corpse. Trent was charged with incest, perjury, and attempting to pervert the course of justice. Julian and their other son, Joshua, were charged with lying to police. The whole family had worked together to cover up the crime, and when Rick was arrested, he collapsed, reportedly attempting suicide by overdose. He was placed in an induced coma. In 2017, Joshua was sentenced to 3 months for lying to police. Julian received 18 months for perjury. Trent was sentenced to 4 years. He was released in early 2018 after serving just 16 months, and Rick, in May 2018, he finally pleaded guilty to the murder of Tiahleigh Palmer. He was sentenced to life in prison, with a non-parole period of 20 years, but for many, it wasn't enough. Years passed, but in April 2025, another headline shocked the public. Rick Thorburn was found dead in his prison cell at Woodford Correctional Centre. He had died on the night of April 11th. Investigations were launched immediately. No foul play was confirmed, but his cause of death was under scrutiny. The man who silenced a child had finally been silenced himself. Tiahleigh Palmer should have had the chance to grow up, to dance, to fall in love, to have a life filled with joy. Instead, she was betrayed by the very people meant to protect her. She was silenced to hide a crime, and her death exposed flaws in Australia's foster system that have still not been fully addressed. Her legacy lives on through the purple ribbons worn across Logan, through the stories told in classrooms and memorials, and through the continued push for reform. She was more than a victim, she was a child. She mattered. And we remember her. Thank you for watching this episode of Red Case Story. If Tiahleigh's story moved you, please share this video, let her voice never be forgotten, and let us never stop demanding justice for her, and for every child failed by the very systems meant to protect them. Until next time, stay safe and stay aware.